Alright, welcome back to another fun-filled week of government. This week we will be covering lobbying and interest groups. Alright, lobbying. I hope I'm not breaking any news here. It's not a waiting area. You're not waiting in the lobby. Lobby is to influence a politician or a public official on an issue, and it is hard to do. I've tried. I used to work for an organization, well, more accurately intern, but I did get paid, the National Ready Mix Concrete Association, and they were trying to pass a bill through the House of Representatives some, oh man, I'm old, 9 years ago, that would allow hurricane-affected areas on the East Coast to rebuild houses using their particular brand of concrete, which they believed was more resilient and would be less likely to fall down and be damaged or collapse. So lobby to influence a politician or a public official on an issue. Alright, so I wanted this concrete. Houses built with this concrete, excuse me. I was a lobbyist, low level. An intern again, but my supervisor did allow me to go to the House of Representatives and sit in on meetings with her from time to time, and by time to time I mean very occasionally. So a person who influences a politician or public official on an issue. So the state legislature has just passed a law changing the minimum age requirement to get a driver's license to the age of 21 years old. We're considering this. This is hypothetical. This is not a thing. Governor Smith is debating whether to sign the bill into law, but has first agreed to hear input from citizens before making his decision. So which is more effective in this scenario, working individually or in groups? Who can you get to join your cause? Who might support this law and why? Who might oppose this law and why? What things can your group do to convince the governor to agree with you? So what is more effective? I hope you've learned, if nothing else from this class, that working in groups is far more effective in getting an agenda passed through any sort of governmental body. Getting people to join your cause. When I was at the National Ready Mix Concrete Association, we had all sorts of, I didn't even know how many people and how many organizations in the United States made concrete, or, you know, selling concrete was their entire business model. That surprised me. So, in my case, a bunch of these concrete agencies all paid dues into the National Ready Mix Concrete Association, and there were actually a couple other concrete lobby groups, and paid dues and paid, you know, and said represent us. So one person walked in, but my boss was representing X amount of agencies. I don't remember anymore. It was a long time ago. So if this is done right, perhaps Governor Smith doesn't sign this law, and you still have to be 16 to get a driver's license. So interest groups, they promote specific issues and interests to the public and policymakers to support their agenda. For example, the NRA. And both of these links are live as of November 11th, 2022 at 4:16 p.m. So watch these videos. It tells you about what the NRA is, what the ACLU is, how they protect the Second Amendment, how they protect the civil liberties. And you have all sorts of groups, individuals, student groups, religious groups, liberal groups, everything you could think of under the sun really has an interest group. Are they effective? Well, that depends. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Some are more effective than others. Membership. There is strength in numbers. There are always strength in numbers. The more people you can get to your cause, the better off you are in getting the change you seek passed. The organization, yeah, you need good leadership, you need focus, you need specific goals. That makes your interest group effective? Money. Money, unfortunately, still makes the world go round. You need it. You need it to fund a staff. You need it to launch a campaign, not a political campaign, but a campaign, ads, radio spots, to promote your cause. Because if nobody knows about what you want, you certainly aren't going to get it. And you need dedicated people. This is the funding for staff. You can certainly try to run an interest group with a volunteer staff, but the volunteer staff has to go to work, has to go home and take care of their sick children, have to, cook dinner, have to, they have a million things to do. If you can afford to make this their job, you're much more likely to succeed. These interest groups can be national, state, or local. You have the local plumbers union, say, or the AFL-CIO. That's at the national level. So, what do? They lobbying. They meet with policymakers to promote their interests. I remember sitting in meetings with chiefs of staff and legislative affairs directors and other things. I was just wowed because, I'm a nerd, and there I was in the Capitol building, and look at me, earmarks, our specific amendments or funding of bills for special projects. So somebody might say, well, okay, I'll pass this education bill. I'm looking at the picture there, All Kids Matter. I'll pass this education bill, but my constituency in Kentucky needs $1 million for road repairs. I don't know if that's enough for road repairs, but just roll with me. Okay, we'll put that in. But my constituency in Illinois needs $2 million to renovate a courthouse that has historic value. Okay, we'll put that in. All these earmarks, and then maybe the bill will pass if you can make enough people happy. Electioneering, supporting candidates working in elections. So political action committees exist to promote candidates' causes. They're usually full-time. They're usually year-round. They spread public awareness, which informs the public about an issue. So, for example, the NSA and the dangers of government overreach or climate change. They'll take issues to court. It's called litigating. So like the ACLU, for example, represents plaintiffs in civil liberties cases all the time. That's what they do. Okay, interest groups in elections. So political action committees, as I said. The electioneering arm of interest groups. These guys promote candidates. The NRA will say, okay, I'm looking down there, Joni Ernst, you are a gun-toting, God-fearing American. We like you. We're going to support you. All right, great, says Joni Ernst and her staff. So the PAC for the NRA would give them her seal of approval and say, okay, we're supporting her, and give her money to fund a campaign and all that, and she'd look for other PACs too. So interest groups survey candidates, they give them questionnaires, interviews, voting record. They talk about their voting records. They ask the candidates to talk about their voting record if they are incumbents. They'll endorse people, which offer a public statement of support. They'll hold press conferences, they'll email supporters. Be careful what you click. I think this is just one of the dangers of my job, but I am on the list for every conceivable candidate on Earth, even outside of this country. My email box is just a mess right now. They encourage members to support candidates, so the National Rifle Association will call its membership and say, have you heard about Joni Ernst? And spread the good word of Joni Ernst. They'll encourage these individuals to donate to her campaign, do political advertisements, whereas an Iowan will say, I love Joni Ernst. This is what she did for me. And, the other guy will do this, that, and the other thing and take away my guns, and I don't like that. So there will be issues. They'll endorse issues. They'll promote an issue instead of a candidate. So, a climate change, a climate action group, for example, might say, we need to support candidates who support our environment and want to enact change to help save the earth. And they'll attack a candidate who doesn't support interests that they do. So the Next Gen Climate Action Committee says, Iowa vulnerable to worsening changes in climate, Jeb Bush says, I'm not a scientist, and Iowa says, you're not a president. That's allowed. This, look this over. This link works too. Look this over. This will be your assignment for the week, but it'll be an actual assignment. You're not going to do it off of here, and I'm going to change a few things. So just familiarize yourself with this. And that's it. Short and sweet. So you'll have that activity. You will have a discussion board for this week, and you will have a chapter to read. All right? And this is the last class before the last week before Thanksgiving break. So we'll do one more lesson when we come back, and then sayonara. So don't forget, discussion board, read the chapter, do the interest group assignment, which will be an actual assignment, not just off of that slide. So that's it. See you guys.